So this question wanted us to find cosine of x over 2 given all this information here. Before even beginning, I know that it's going to involve cosine of x over 2, cosine of half of an angle. So immediately the half angle formula should already be in our mind, specifically the half angle formula for cosine. So what does all of this other information have to do with anything? Well, recall the idea that we discussed in this unit, in Unit 6, and then in Unit 5. They gave us an actual trig ratio. Anytime you're given an actual trig ratio, you can always draw a triangle. So that's exactly what I'm going to do first. By drawing a right triangle, we can fill it out using the information they gave us. They tell us the secant of this angle x is 3 over 2. Secant, of course, being the reciprocal of cosine. So I know that the hypotenuse over adjacent should be 3 over 2. And then we can use Pythagoras' theorem to figure out the missing side. So this should be the square root of 9 minus 4 is square root of 5. So now when we follow the formula, it's easy peasy. Just, follow the formula. So this cosine of x over 2, which is what the question asks us to find, equals, according to the formula, plus or minus the square root of 1 plus cosine of x all over 2, right? Plus or minus the square root of 1 plus. How am I supposed to figure this out? Well, we have a complete picture now. So we can just read the picture. We can see that the cosine of this angle is 2 over 3. Now notice how we are in, according to this information, quadrant, quadrant 4 for the angle x, and cosine is, of course, positive in quadrant 4. So then the rest is just algebraic manipulation. So notice we have a compound fraction here. So I like to simplify it using clearing the fraction. So the LCD is just 3. That's the only denominator we have. So I'm going to multiply everything by 3. And that gives us 3 plus, 2 all over 6. So that's 5, 6. Plus or minus 5, 6. Now here is the question of plus or minus. Now remember that the choice of plus or minus will depend on not what angle x is in, but what angle x over 2 is in. How are we supposed to figure that out? Well, they told us at the beginning that 270 degrees is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 360. Well, if that is the restriction for x, then the restriction for x over 2 must simply be everything divided by 2, right? If 270 is less than x and less than or equal to 360, then logically 135 degrees is less than x over 2, which is less than 180 degrees. This says here, quadrant 2? Yeah, quadrant 2. And what is cosine, because that's what we're dealing with, what is cosine in quadrant 2? It is negative. So the answer should have been negative radical 5, 6.